So again, August 2nd, 2026, I'm continuing the story from the flight with the CSD, who was called Danny Cook. He gave me 2 cups of tea. That night I got sick, like really bad stomach upset and sick, bad tummy, all right. I didn't say anything because you can get taken off your flight, you see, if you are sick. I think though that the rule is that if you are sick with sickness or diarrhea for more than 24 hours, I think that's the rule, if I remember rightly. But anyway, it was nasty and abnormal, let's just say. And I turned off a minute. I don't know if you hear that, but there's some kind of aircraft or drone or something. Like, you must be able to hear that now. Excuse me. Yep, it's getting louder. It's coming from that way. Oh, it's right up there. It's going right over. Oh, surprise, surprise. Okay. Surprise, surprise, I'm talking about aircraft and there's an aircraft going over. I need to get through this story. So, wow. So, it was only after getting sick, probably for the third time, that I realized this was deliberate, okay? Now, the time after this was the person, I believe, who put something in my food was Satinder Kaur. I had been to visit her and she cooked curry and I got extremely sick the following day. I was actually driving home from her house, which was in a place called Burgess Hill in East Sussex in the UK, back to my home, which was Penzance, Cornwall. That's like an 8-hour drive, and I had to stop just over and over and over again. I was very, very sick. I had it was like spasms, all right? So I don't know what she put in that curry, but I actually suspect it was in the spinach. Just the way she offered me more spinach, just there was something very weird about the way she looked when she was offering me more spinach. I can't explain. Look, I'm an empath, I'm psychic a little bit, so I pick these things up and I don't necessarily know what they mean. But here's the thing, after that flight, repeatedly I'd been getting poisoned over and over and over again in the detention centers. In the Louisiana one, it happened over and over and over again. When I got moved to Houston, it happened once, but it was really bad. I mean, I was in a whole lot of pain. I didn't want to go to the infirmary or anything like that, but I was really in a lot of pain. And what I believe is that they make up these lies, the traffickers, do setups to make it look as if it's true, and then get everyone around me, people around me, to then punish me for having done these things that I didn't do. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well, but it's like they frame you and then they get all these busybody, people to punish you for it. It's unbelievable, but that seems to be what is actually happening. Now, the bit that I did tell before, I think it was on this set of flights with Danny Cook, who was the CSD. I believe so, and I believe it was I believe it was a set of 4 flights over 6 days, and I think it was in Boston back to back. So look, I want all this investigated, okay? That's why I'm giving as much detail as I can remember. I have a strange feeling that there were 3 people in that flight deck, and I don't know why. And I remember vaguely, you know, realizing that I only had 2 cups of tea. I don't know where I'm getting this from, if it's actually from that day or not. But I vaguely remember asking, oh, would you like a cup of tea also? I don't even know who that 3rd person was. It was a man. That's what I can remember, and he was in plain clothes. That's what I remember. I think so. See, it's hard, and I think they're mind controlling me to forget the details, or to trying to mess up the details in my mind. But anyway, there are some details that are very clear. The aircraft type, that it was a different configuration. I remember that. So, you know, definitely if this was investigated with the name of the CSD, the cabin manager, and that strange configuration aircraft, and that I was on that flight, these things, they'll be able to find out which flight that was, and I think it was a Boston back to back. So this is the part that I think I have spoken about before, and this is the part that came back to me in flashbacks. All right, they must have had me under some kind of hypnosis. It wasn't mind control, it was hypnosis. And here's how I think is the difference, this in my experience, okay? It's because I didn't remember anything. So it's as if they had hypnotized me and then hypnotized me to forget completely that incident, except it started to come back to me in flashbacks, all right? And what I remember is that I had a vial. There were 2 cups in front of me, 2 paper cups, and there was a vial. It's as if they woke me up and put me under a few different times, okay? Because one of the times the lid was on the bottle, and another time it was off. But what in the flashbacks, when it showed me shaking this bottle over these cups of tea and kind of giggling as if it was funny, and but the lid was on this vial, and it didn't look like eye drops. It was like it was round, like a sphere, okay? And then the lid, and obviously with a flat bit on the bottom, and the lid was long and thin, and it was like dark green, and it had ridges. It was dark green plastic and had ridges on it, a bit like a felt tip lid. Markers, you know, coloured markers like that children have. You know, those ridges they have on the lid, sometimes they do. That's what I remember. And I know that that's not something I would ever do. And I know that that is not a memory of something that I did, because, as I say, it's not something I would do. But also, I would know why I was laughing, and I don't. You know, and there's no memory before or after, except that when they woke me up from that was when the CSD, Danny Cook, made me drink the cups of tea. So I think it was those cups of tea, but I think also that they actually did put something in those cups of tea. I don't think I put anything in those cups of tea, because, as I said, the lid was on. That's what I remember. But I do remember, you know, at one point just being shocked, like waking up out of the trance, whatever it was, and like, oh, what must this look like? This isn't funny, you know? And I think what they did then was that they put me under again. They re-hypnotized me because I woke up. That's what I think happened. These are just flashbacks that I've had. Then the next, oh no, before, there's a bit before. So when the CSD, there was a part before the CSD was giving me the tea, where I was standing and I could see where the galley was. This is the second galley, which is the club galley, where the CSD has a little office in there, all right? And I could see the entrance of that, and I could see the countertop where the bev makers are, which are at doors 2, okay? Someone who flies knows what I'm talking about here. I just have to say it as I know it, all right? And here's what I saw, a huddle of crew. And I think this crew member, the same crew member who gave me I can't swear to it, but he looked very similar. White guy, tallish, overweight-ish, sandy colour hair. You know, I think if it wasn't the actual one, it's someone who looked very similar, okay? And he was one of the huddle that was standing by the bev makers. But in between them, they moved slightly, and I could see that on the table was a bottle of actual eye drops. It has a particular shape, the eye drop bottle, and I saw it on the table with the lid off. So I didn't obviously see what they did, but putting 2 and 2 together, I believe what they did was they got those 2 cups of tea and actually put eye drops in them and then made me drink them, all right? But I don't know that for sure. It could have been something completely different they put in. I don't know. You see, at that time, as I'm saying, I didn't really